Hello friends and welcome back to Amir's Allotment. You may have gathered from the title, it's time to start sowing seeds. When this tin comes out, it's time for me to start sowing my seeds and I'm super excited, but there's no rush. I know a lot of people, when you look online and look at what other gardeners are doing, you get that buzz to start getting things done, but there really is no rush at all. In fact, I am going to use this video as a reminder to myself that it's really important at this time of year to really enjoy it, slow things down and take my time with sowing my seeds, because I really find sowing seeds really therapeutic. I'm sure a lot of you do. I like to prep the soil, I like to fill the cells with the soil, get all the labels, everything ready, and then I sit down and I start putting my seeds into the cells and sowing them. So I like to take my time with it, because I find if I rush it, I just lose all the fun out of it. I don't feel, it just goes by so quick, and then before I know it, I'm done. And I just think, what next? So I like to take my time with it and enjoy it as I'm going along. So in today's episode, what I will be sowing is just a tray of tomatoes, just to see how they go, nice and early. If there's any issues, then we can still sow again. So some tomatoes. I'm also going to try some unusual things that I haven't sown before. There's a couple of Turkish melons that I've got, I was gifted from someone, so I'm going to sow some of those seeds as well as some okra, which again I've never tried before, but I'm going to sow them as well. Let's sit back and enjoy some seed sowing. My friends, where has the time gone? I can't believe it's March already. Anyway, I really enjoyed this time of the year, getting things ready and sowing seeds. I find it really therapeutic, and what I really enjoy doing, which I know is a bit laborious for some people, but I do like to sieve my compost. I know if you get very good seed mix compost that's ready for seeds, it's usually in good nick anyway, but I still like to do it because you'll be surprised. I know there's sometimes lumps of soil that you can free, but you'd be surprised at what's sometimes in there. So it's nice to get the soil really soft and fluffy like this, and then I like filling the cells, and it's just really I have it in my head that I need to give those little seedlings a fighting chance. But yeah, this year what I'm doing is I'm using these type of trays, but I'm not fussy really, to be honest. I'll try anything that I can find in the shed, I'll use it. These particular ones are really hard plastic and I've had them for years. They come out every year. So I like to give everything a really good clean and then reuse it. But these ones are new. I just thought I'll try them because they just seemed really handy and they were cheap. I think they were from Home Bargains. So yeah, so what I'm just doing here is just filling up the cells, getting them all nice and full with the compost. And then once I've done that, I'll then start looking at what seeds I'm planning to sow. So what do you do at this time of year? Let me know what you're starting to sow as well, because I like to see what everyone else is doing as well. But remember what I mentioned earlier, there really is no rush in doing this at all, because like I said, if you rush through it, it's almost like you take all the fun out of it really. So I really do like to get this done, and then I can sit down and just put my seeds in each cell and yeah, keep an eye on everything. So I really enjoy, even this bit, I enjoy every single bit about seed sowing. And the good thing about starting this early, as I mentioned before, is that, to be honest, if there's any issues or you get things that don't germinate, don't worry, you can start again. But the other thing as well is don't worry too much, because if the temperatures are fairly low, then seeds might not germinate, so still give them a chance. I leave everything in this conservatory that I have at home. It's really bright and it's really warm as well. We've got radiators in here, so it's actually quite a warm room, so it gives everything a good chance. And especially now where we're starting to get longer days, it just gives them more light, and that's a good thing. So what I'll be sowing in these seed trays is, well, my lovely in-laws bought me some lovely Turkish melon seeds, and so I'm going to trial the melons and see how they go. I'll be sowing those in these trays, and I'm also going to try okra as well. Never tried that, so that's something new to try this year. So looking forward to seeing how that goes. I'll probably pop a plant in the greenhouse so that they get enough heat as well. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they go. With my tomatoes, I'm going to sow my tomatoes in these trays with the little pots inside, because then I can leave them in just a little bit longer as well. Last year what I did was I sowed them in like an open tray, and then I left them in a little bit too long, and then the roots all got tangled and I had to prise them apart and then pot them on. So I'm hoping that what I can do in these is see how many germinate, thin them out, and then we can keep one plant per pot and then pot them on when I need to, or direct sow if they're a decent enough size plant. So yeah, that's my plan this year. In terms of varieties with tomatoes, I'm doing San Marzano plum, which is a lovely variety, great for sauce. Honestly, the flavour was amazing. I do find though with the plum tomatoes, they take a little bit longer to ripen. So to be honest, I did get loads of ripe tomatoes last year, so I'm not complaining. But also in the end, I still had loads that had not ripened, so I just harvested them green, and then but they did ripen at home, so they were fine. And that's why I'm doing the same variety again. I'm also doing Constelluta Florentina and also Constelluta di Parmo, which again, they're like beefsteak varieties, and they're lovely ribbed tomatoes and they're fantastic. I'll also be doing Gigantamo again, which is a very large beefsteak. We used them last year for stuffing and they were brilliant. So I'm doing Gigantamo as well. And also I'm just going to do a row of Gardener's Delight, because I find Gardener's Delight are, for me, I find that they're the perfect outdoor tomato, and you get so many trusses on them as well. So they really do really well outdoors, hence why I'll be sowing these again this year. So I'm just labeling up, and then we'll be ready to get our seeds in. So the plan is to get about 3 seeds per pot and then thin them out, and we'll keep 1 plant per pot. Time to get some seeds in. This is my favourite part, to literally sow the seeds. Now with tomatoes, you don't need to sow the seeds too deep. Although don't worry if you have done, they're really quite forgiving, and they usually do absolutely fine. And they germinate really well as well. I do find tomatoes usually are more easier than some other seeds. The Gigantamo, to be honest, I didn't have very many seeds, so they are 1 seed per pot. Let's see if all of them germinate. They did last year, so hopefully I'll get the same this year. If not, I'll have to get some more seeds, because it was definitely a firm favourite. Really, really large tomatoes. And what we did last year was actually stuff them with some mince, or you can stuff them with a vegetarian ingredient, and yeah, they were absolutely great, full of flavour, a really nice tomato. As you can see, I've actually sown a lot of Italian varieties because, well, we all know the Italian tomatoes are brilliant. I mean, yeah, absolutely great for sauces, great for cooking in a number of ways. So yeah, I must admit, these tomatoes have all been really, really good for me, and that's why I'm doing the varieties that I really like. Although along the way, if there's an exciting variety, I'll always try that as well, because it's really interesting to see the different colours that you get as well. So tomatoes are they're just so much fun. To be honest, I'm really diligent to start off with the tomatoes, and making sure that, you know, I take off the side shoots and everything, and then towards the season, as things start going and on, I just tend to neglect them a little bit, and they just absolutely go wild. So every year I say I'm not going to do that, and I'm going to keep on top of the tomatoes and manage them, but it always happens. But I don't mind, to be honest, because as long as they've got plenty of room, and as long as in the greenhouse, as long as there's enough ventilation, you won't have any problems. Time to start sowing the okra. Has anyone else tried okra? Please let me know in the comments box. How did it go for you? I'm going to probably grow these on in the greenhouse. It'd be interesting to see if these do well, because I really like them in our cooking. We cook them quite a bit. They have a really, really nice flavour, and they're great. So that's the reason why we decided that we were going to try these this year. And I've seen the pictures of the plants. They have a lovely leaves, and a lovely plant. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how these do for us. So for now, I'm going to do a whole tray full and see how they go. If they do really well and the plants will germinate, I can share some with my mum. And yeah, because she loves cooking these as well, so that'll be brilliant. Definitely will do that. So yeah, interesting looking seeds. They're like little lentils. Yeah, very interesting. But yeah, if you've grown these in the UK, let me know. How did they go for you, and did you get a good harvest? Yeah, I'd like to know. Let me know in the comments if you've tried it, and I'll obviously be keeping you posted on these. So I'm going to do 6 of this melon. These are Turkish melons, and I'm going to do 6 of this variety on this side. Okay, so let's go for this one. I know these varieties may not be hardy and suitable for our UK climate. That's why they're a bit of an experiment, and I will be growing them on indoors. So this variety, its seeds are stunning. Look at those pink seeds. Amazing. What I do is I sow these on their side, just to give them as much chance as possible to germinate. These also have like pink seed. It's really felt good sowing again. I really enjoyed sowing the tomatoes and also the experimental melons. Let's see how these go. I will sure keep you posted. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this one. Stay tuned for the next episode where we'll be heading over to the allotment plot and doing some direct sowing. I look forward to seeing you then.